I was set to propose to my partner, Sarah, 26F, at her family's annual gathering last month. But her intoxicated cousin dropped a bombshell that changed everything. I'm 28M, and Sarah and I had been together for 3 years, sharing a leased apartment. I'd been planning the proposal for months, even consulting one of her close friends about the ring. The family reunion was a weekend-long event at her grandparents' countryside home, and I was invited to join. I thought it would be the perfect moment to propose during the big family dinner on the final evening. The reunion started smoothly, but I noticed a guy, roughly my age, spending a lot of time with Sarah. Let's call him Tom. He seemed very comfortable with her and some of her family members, yet Sarah had never mentioned him before. At one point, I caught them chatting alone on the back porch. When I approached, they fell silent, which felt strange, but I didn't want to overthink it. Sarah introduced Tom as an old college acquaintance. I brushed it off initially, assuming it was just a friendly reunion catch-up. On the second night, during a lively bonfire with plenty of drinking, I was chatting with some of Sarah's relatives, including her younger cousin, Emma, 24F. Emma, clearly tipsy, suddenly asked me why I couldn't see the obvious and find someone better than Sarah. I was stunned. I laughed nervously and asked what she meant. Emma, with a sympathetic look, muttered that everyone knew Sarah and Tom had something going on and that Sarah found me too needy. Another cousin quickly hushed her and pulled her away, leaving me dumbfounded. Her words stuck with me. I started piecing things together. Tom wasn't just a random friend, and Sarah had been acting distant for weeks. She'd also insisted I didn't need to help plan the reunion, which now felt suspicious. I decided to confront her. I pulled Sarah aside, away from the bonfire, and asked directly about Tom's role in her life. She got defensive, insisting he was just a friend and that I was being irrational. I brought up her cousin's comment, without naming Emma, about needing to take a hint. Sarah rolled her eyes and admitted Tom was an old romantic interest from years ago, but claimed they were just friends now. She accused me of making a fuss over nothing. I wasn't loud or dramatic, just seeking clarity, but Sarah acted like my questions were an attack. She called me overly attached for even caring about Tom's presence, which hurt. In 3 years, she'd never called me clingy, and she'd always seemed just as engaged in our relationship as I was. Hearing she'd been telling her family I was smothering her was a gut punch. I told her I felt disrespected that she'd invited an ex to a family event I thought was special for us. I didn't mention the proposal. It didn't feel relevant anymore. She scoffed, asking if I was seriously jealous of Tom and insisting there was nothing to worry about. I was done arguing. Later that night, Sarah left with Tom and a few cousins to hit a local bar without inviting me. She casually said, "Stay here if you're tired, I'll be back later," essentially leaving me behind at her grandparents' house while she went out with her ex. I sat alone in our guest room, feeling humiliated. The woman I was about to propose to had lied about this guy and chose to spend the evening with him instead of me. I felt like an idiot. While she was out, I packed my bags quietly. That night, I left the reunion, leaving a brief note in the guest room saying I was heading home and we'd talk later. I drove 4 hours back to our apartment. The next day, I started moving. I can't tell you the full story in short. To watch the full story, click the related link below.